Hi, I'm Milena. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another book haul. It's been a while since I did this. I've not been really thinking about doing a book haul because I've just been selling books, but apparently looking at the stack right here, I've also been buying books. I have a few non-fiction, a lot of literary fiction actually, and classics as well. Should we start with the classics? I want to start with the classics. There are a few classics that I bought when I ordered the Wordsworth classics that I always order, I've now twice ordered it for the shop. First one is a book club read, and that is The Woodlanders by Thomas Hardy. This is going to be our summer read for the Thomas Hardy read along. So this will be our second. We just finished Duty Obscure. It seems like a very typical Thomas Hardy with a heroine who marries the wrong person, who is kind of battling her feelings of love and security. It shows the tragic consequences of social and religious proprieties, which sounds like Thomas Hardy at its core. It's a much thinner Thomas Hardy than I've usually read, so I'm very curious. Another one that I don't know if I will like, but I just love the edition so much, I thought, let's get it for myself as well. And that is The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I've never read anything by Hawthorne. It is set in the rigid moral climate of the 17th century New England. The young mother of an illegitimate child confronts her Puritan judges. Yeah, of course, I know like the legend with like the A on her shirt and everything. Yes, I do know that because of the rom-com. But I feel like I want to read this even if I don't necessarily love it. I feel like it's such an important part of literary history. A book that, I mean, I really want it, but I got this one for myself because it's slightly damaged. But that is Notes from Underground by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I've not read his major works, but I've read a few short stories by the author and was captivated by them. So this has the, I think, like TikTok hype White Knight short story, but it's a really big short story collection. So it has, no, it doesn't have all his short stories, but it says Notes from Underground and Other Stories. I do have these still in the shop as well as this one. But yeah, I really love what Wordsworth has done with like the modernist art on the Dostoevsky editions. Another book club read that is for the whimsical readers, and I don't know the months by heart, possibly August and September, but that is Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters. This will be my second Sarah Waters, and I did not love the first one, so again I'm a little bit nervous for a whimsical readers book club read. This is a sapphic historical fiction, and I just really want to give Sarah Waters another go because she really sounds like an author I could really love. So maybe I'm just a different reader now and I will enjoy her writing more. We shall see. I'm slightly nervous for this one, but I do really like the Virago edition of it. I got a few books from a subscriber, which is so kind. She sent these to me. These are a few of her favorite books and she hoped that I would enjoy them as well. So the first one is Portrait in Sepia by Isabel Allende. This is translated from the Spanish. Of course, Isabel Allende is a legend. I've read one book by her. We have a main character called Aurora and she suffers a brutal trauma early in her life which causes memory loss. She is raised by her grandma and we follow her throughout a larger part of her life. So this does really sound like my kind of book and I love the edition with like the deckled edges. Thank you so much for gifting me these. These are all really lovely secondhand edition. Then we have Bright Star, Love Letters and Poems of John Keats to Fanny Brawny. I think this is the film tie-in. I think did he play John Keats? I think he did. I love the idea. I've not read much John Keats. I have read a few of his poems. Couldn't connect with that a lot, but I'm really curious to read some of his letters. A book I've been wanting to read for a while, but I kind of forgot about it. That is Soude Française. I think this is a Second World War historical fiction. Soude Française tells the remarkable story of men and women thrown together in circumstances beyond their control. Aspirations flee the city, human folly surfaces in every imaginable way. A wealthy mother searches for sweets in a town without food. A couple is terrified at the thought of losing their jobs. I think this is very much a daily life stories within a time of war. Heard really wonderful things about it, and I think there's a film as well that I may have seen a while back, I'm not sure. This is a novella, I believe, by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, also translated from the Spanish. Chronicles of a Death Foretold. And I like these editions. I think I have one in the shop for Love in the Time of Cholera, this edition as well, which I really enjoy. This feels like a 24-hour readathon kind of book. Oh, it's a crime novel, or the crime is the core of the story. It's about a man who returns to a town where a baffling murder took place 27 years earlier and he tries to solve the murder. Ooh, I didn't know this was like crime related. That's fun. Right, and this is a book I've never heard about. Bless Me Ultima. It is set in New Mexico, and reading the back, I get an idea of magical realism, of religion. Ultima is a woman who is, I think, a midwife or a healing woman. I have never heard of it, so this is going to be a very exciting book to read, I feel like. A small local bookseller organized a book cafe on a Sunday, and I decided to go, and I met a few lovely people, but I also got a few things, of course. Her store is a feel-good store, and I got a historical fiction. I mean, it looks really cute, but it's called The Cornish Midwife by Jo Bartlett. When a new arrival is the talk of the town, and this sounded like the perfect summer read. I enjoy reading a story of a woman trying to find her own way in a new small town, especially in summer. Yes, it's a bit of a basic plotline, but it can deliver really nice and comforting summer stories. This reminds me a little bit of Virgin River, the Netflix series, which, I mean, it's not the best, but it's very enjoyable. So that's kind of why I picked this up. Then I went to another small bookstore near me, and I got this nonfiction, which she had secondhand. That is Romantic Outlaws, The Extraordinary Lives of Mary Wollstonecraft and Mary Shelley. This book had a lot of hype a few years back, but I never really got to it because of this. It's really quite big. But I love both authors. I love The Vindication of the Rights of Women, and I love Frankenstein. And just the fact that they are mother and daughter is just, like, it's fascinated the world, it fascinates me, and I cannot wait to read this chunker at some point in my life. When I was there, I also picked up a new fantasy that I saw a few people give 5 stars, and it's all about books and library, so I thought, why not? And that is The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. I really need some new fantasy series because I finished a few. I need some new ones in my life. I think currently the third one is being written. I think the second one has already come out, so if I like this, I really have some books to look forward to. It's a chunker as well, but I love this edition. It's about a main character who has been trapped in a library for his entire life. And then we have another character, is it romantasy maybe a little bit? Has spent her life in a tiny settlement out on the dust where nightmares stalk and no one goes. The world has never noticed them. That's about to change. And it has a quote from Robin Hobb. I mean, this sounds promising. Boy bought a book for me. He didn't know I already read it, but I really like having an edition of it because I gave it 5 stars, I think. But that is Yellow Face by Arthur Kwong. I think this was also on my favorites list of last year with these beautiful black sprayed edges. So yeah, I have now an edition of this as well. An author who wrote a novella that is also, I think, a little bit of a TikTok darling. I've read other works by the author. That is Forster by Claire Keegan. Everyone really seems to love this. I loved Small Things Like These, which is another novella by the author. She also recently published a short story collection that I also really liked. This is not even 100 pages, and I've owned it for a few months now, and I never read it because I just want to save it because it's so short. It's just ridiculous, but Claire Keegan is definitely one of my favorite literary fiction authors. Talking about literary fiction, another favorite literary fiction author is Akwaeke Emezi, and their new book is called Little Rot. This is about a couple who has just broken up and both go their own way as they struggle with their breakup, and we also follow another couple who are 2 Nigerian sex workers who are visiting from another place, and I think it's all about how they meet and how they get corrupted in the nightlife. Granted, this does not really sound like my kind of book, but I don't think any of Akwaeke Emezi's works sound like my kind of book, and I always end up really enjoying them. There are 3 historical fictions that I got, but I already showed them to you in my mid-year freakout tag. But those are these 3 books: The Maiden, Night Bloom, and The Household. Another book Boy got for me is a thriller, which I was like, you bought me a thriller? Okay, but he bought it because of the title. It says Death of a Bookseller by Alice Slater. Ooh, we have a bookseller who is a true crime obsessive, is not interested in making friends. She has all the company she needs in her serial killer books. Oh wow. Murder podcast and her pet snail Bleep. That is until Laura joins the bookshop, smelling of roses and carrying a cute literary tote bag. She's everyone's favorite bookseller. Ooh, and then those 2 characters meet and I think shit is going to go down. I don't really want to read much more and let myself be surprised. Right, so these are the books that I've gotten over the last few months. I do have 2 more books that are supposed to come in. The first one is a graphic novel of Kindred. Kindred is one of my favorite historical fiction, time travel kind of books, classics. If I really like the graphic novel as well, I will add it to the shop too. So this is kind of me proofreading a book, such a hard job I have. Another one is Briefly a Delicious Life by Nell Stevens, and I gave Nell Stevens a 5-star earlier this year, so I really wanted to read another work by her. I have been looking at some romances to get for my birthday, and I have a few in mind that I want to get, but if you have a romance recommendation for me to get for my birthday on the 1st of August, then please leave me a comment down below with a romance you think I will really love, because is it summer when you don't read romances? I mean, not to me, maybe to you. I need them in my summer life. For now, I want to thank you for watching this video, and I hope that you have a lovely day or evening. Doei!